Hi guys, it's Ashley from Ashley's Paper Heart, and today I'm going to be working in my travel journal. I know. So we didn't actually do any sort of like long distance traveling, but when we visit somewhere for the first time, even if it's local, I tend to do a spread in my travel journal, especially now because of COVID and the fact that we can't do like a lot of traveling. So for this, I think I'm doing two spreads actually. For this group of pages, I'm actually documenting our trip to the La Brea Tar Pits in Los Angeles. So we actually don't live too terribly far away. With traffic, I believe it took like 45 minutes to get down there. So that was pretty good, especially considering how bad LA traffic can be. I believe we ended up going on a Friday, just kind of in hopes of it not being as busy as it would have been on a weekend. So I had decided, and this was when COVID numbers were down, and things were just starting to open up here in the city. I had decided that I really wanted to take our kids to some of the like educational places, the museums, the aquarium, and just a few other places that I thought would kind of like spark their imagination. Both of my kids are just at that stage where they just soak up every little ounce of knowledge that you give them. And I really want to push their like imagination and that love for learning while I can. I feel like a lot of that kind of gets squashed when school starts. So I think that it's important if we're able to as parents to start introducing them to things that will get them feeling interested in the world around them. And I know for me, as a little kid, I was really interested in all things fossils, dinosaurs, and Ice Age related. So I really wanted to kind of start down that path with my kids to see if they would take an interest, and they did. So the La Brea Tar Pits is actually a group of tar pits that is in, I believe, Hancock Park in downtown LA. And it's an actual, I think it's like an offshoot of the main Natural History Museum of Los Angeles. And this museum is definitely on the smaller side, so it was perfect for young kids, in my opinion. Obviously, it's perfect for everyone, but we were able to get through the entire exhibit fairly quickly, and the kids didn't get bored. They were interested the entire time and engaged the entire time. And it was nice because it wasn't super crowded, and they also had a really nice outdoor space around the tar pits. So that was all like adding to how cool it was. So something else that I found really interesting about the La Brea tar pits is that they are still actively pulling out fossils out of the different tar pits. I think when we were walking around like the entire park, we saw maybe three different tar pits, and it was just cool. Inside the actual museum, they had basically like a laboratory where people were grinding the rocks and stuff off the fossils, which was just really cool to stand and watch people work on that stuff. So when we first got there, we did go and look at the main tar pit that's out in front of the museum. And that one actually has a couple of statues of mammoths. One is in the actual tar pit, and then two are up on the banks of the tar pit. The kids were really interested in the mammoth statues, and I really like just kind of like staring off into the water and seeing like these big black bubbles popping up. It was pretty interesting and very stinky, which was something that I probably should have expected but didn't. So in the actual museum, they had quite a few full skeletal remains of different animals from then. So they had mammoths and mastodons, they had dire wolves, and a giant sloth when you first came in, which was pretty cool. And despite how big it was actually a medium-sized giant sloth. So yeah, it was pretty impressive. My son was just like pointing at everything and super interested in everything, and my daughter was asking all sorts of questions that I did not know the answers to. But that's a part of the fun too. I think when we take our kids to places like this, we are also kind of educating ourselves. And I know for me, I am very interested in all things fossils. And so I was happy to learn alongside her. So we hung out there for maybe 2 hours in total. We ended up having a snack outside after the excitement of looking at all the skeletons on the inside of the museum. It was warm, but it wasn't too warm to, sit outside in the shade. And the kids really enjoyed kind of like running around and playing with. We got them some mammoths from the gift shop, and my son has just like latched on to mammoths. Like he is so interested in them now. And of course, we had to show him Ice Age, and now he wants to watch that movie all the time. And it was really cute because at that point he was still not saying as many words as I was hoping that he would be saying, but he like said the word mammoth, and just like that was his word. Like we were saying mammoth to everything. And so it was really fun to see how excited that they got, both of them, over seeing these fossils. And I think next we want to take them to the Natural History Museum when all this COVID stuff slows down, if it ever does. We are definitely like being cautious about where we go and how often we go out. So that is something that I hope for in the future, is that we can take them out to more museums and kind of just open their minds to the world around them. So on the page, I was actually really excited to be able to use some of these illustrations from a vintage natural history book. I think that there's definitely not enough dinosaurs and mammoths and prehistoric uh, things in journaling these days, and I'm definitely wanting to incorporate more of that into my pages. So this little illustration of a mammoth and saber-toothed tiger, and I believe it's a dodo bird, it came from the dust cover of one of the books that we purchased at the gift shop. A lot of the times when we go to places and they have a gift shop, I really like to get the kids books. One, because I think reading is so, so important. And two, I think one of the best ways that we can spark imagination and the drive for knowledge is through stories. So I got this book for the kids, and we've read it quite a few times at bedtime. It's a really cute story of a little cave boy who wants a pet, and apparently all of his cave family is allergic to the pets that he brings home, but he ends up getting to keep them at the end after they save them from a stampede. So I thought that was a really cute story, how this little boy was looking for a friendship and a pet, and he ended up with three really cool animals. So the orange photo that I put down with a bunch, I don't know if how closely you can see, it's not the best photo, but that is actually, they have a wall that is illuminated from the backside, and in the display it's full of direwolf skulls that they have pulled out of the tar pits. And I just thought that was really cool. One, just because I like skulls, but two, the way that they decided to showcase this, it was almost like a work of art in a way. And that is something else that I love about museums, is the way that they showcase the items that they've found. It's really, really cool. We also got to see quite a bit of skeletons from different birds, which, you know me, I love birds and I'm all about learning everything, anatomy and all, about the birds. I also had put the photo down of the medium giant sloth that we saw, and that thing was huge. I cannot even imagine seeing something like that in real life. I think I would be scared out of my mind if I saw something that big. And hopefully, if I ever do see something that big, it is too slow to catch up to me. I'm also sticking down this tag that came on one of the kids' stuffed mammoths that we purchased them. We are definitely in that phase that if you buy one thing for one kid, they both need it. Otherwise, they fight over it. So they both got stuffed mammoths and a plastic mammoth to play with. All in all, it was a really good time. The kids had a lot of fun and they both fell asleep on the car ride back, which, if you're a parent to small children, you know how wonderful that is because you can actually carry on a conversation without being interrupted. So it was a nice drive back. So, has anyone else been able to get out and view some of their local museums? I would love to hear about that in the comments below. And if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up and don't forget to comment and subscribe. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.